Our European partners, it's something I always wondered. Why Jamaica? They operate in several countries, I know, but of all the places this side, what was so peculiar and alluring about Jamaica for them to
You mean
extend a
apart
hand of
from the fact
partnership?
that we're special?
Yes, apart from the fact that we're very special.
No, well, actually, it was the initiative of our local company and the promoters, Damian Franklin being one of the persons who went looking for a credit bureau that specializes in small markets. And this is a differential with Creditinfo. Creditinfo goes after those smaller markets in the world where they're able to provide that differential advantage using their credit bureau system. And it is demonstrative of their targeting that we are now in Ghana. We got the only license in Ghana. And Jamaica is now positioned to be the hub for any further expansion in this region. So we chose them and they chose us, because when they came to this part of the world and looked and saw the opportunity, in fact, they have said that there has not been a market as ready for the credit bureau services as they have seen in Jamaica.
And just to clarify, you have first mover advantage in this business, don't you?
Well, yes, we certainly hope so. I mean, we know that there is another licensed bureau and we understand that there is another applicant, but we're doing what we have to do. I mean, we do think that this is a free market, and certainly in other jurisdictions more than one bureau operates, but we are out there doing what we have to do. We have signed up to date about 31 credit information providers, and our particular challenge really is helping them to prepare their data to bring it over to us, so that once we enter a particular TRN, there is a better than average chance that that person will be in the system if they have any credit exposure at all. So that's really what we're working for. And also those persons who are coming here next week, those credit information providers who are not quite as ready with their data, we're also going to be helping them to clean their data and send it over.
I'm thinking of governments and what they're responsible for. I just had a conversation recently about the doing business environment in Jamaica. Come July 1, you are legitimate now, of course. But how much of a difference will this make to that little notation in the doing business report on Jamaica about the ease of, doing business in Jamaica, the credit reporting facility up and running?
Well, it has, I don't know about the ease of doing business, but certainly in terms of our framework, this would have moved us up several notches on that indicator. It is now for the institutions to access that system and use the information that's now going to be available at their fingertips to help them to move through their decision-making process much more efficiently. So we are anticipating that, yes, it's supposed to give us an uptick. It's supposed to make it easier for people to make informed decisions. Knowledge is power, as I said, and having up-to-date information and full information. And that is why our target is to increase the number of credit information providers as widely as possible. And then when we get the utilities, because I know it's a when,
yes.
That will assist a lot of persons because it is to those institutions that they have their only exposure to credit. Most people have at least one telephone, or they have a cable subscription or something. And how you treat with your responsibilities in that area is an indication that can be used to determine, help a credit provider determine whether or not they want to do business with you.
I said final question 3 questions ago. Here I am again. I know you may.
But this is a fascinating topic.
Yes, you must have.
You could have us for a whole program.
Yes, you are right. You must have played with the data relating to your own obligations, your own interests. What's your credit score? And I ask that to ask if it is that, all of us will say, oh, my credit score is 500, 700, like we see in America with these ads, freecreditreport.com and all of these things. Is that where we're going, of course?
Well, what we have aligned our scoring model in line with the FICO score, which is what the U.S. uses, because as you say, with everybody's exposure to cable, there is an understanding of what the range of reports mean. So our score will be on a range between 350 and 900. And of course, the higher up that scale that you are at a point in time, because I keep saying this is at a point in time, things can change. You could be a good credit person up to this point and you lose your job, or the reverse. You could have not been able to manage your credit because you lost your job and now you've got one and you've worked with a restructuring deal. So all credit reports do, is give you information at a point in time and allows that credit officer to ask the right questions to help structure a facility that is within a particular individual's capability. It's not meant to screen people out of credit. It's meant to assist you to better manage your credit exposure. So that's what we expect. And I keep saying to people, there's no bad credit score per se, because a score that's at the lower end of the range merely means that maybe that credit provider spends a little bit more time with you on your financial structuring, on your financial management support, maybe how they monitor the facility and the pricing that you would get, as distinct from somebody at the higher end of the scale who might get maybe a point or two break because they know that they don't have to spend as much time monitoring that facility. So this is what it is.
Good
it's
business
just information.
Good business is format to fit screen, and so it's on that basis I ask this question. If I am getting married to Megan Deane, who's been in business for a long time, who has had a checkered past, and of course we're going to join assets now, and of course you being now Mrs. Davis, I'd have to shoulder your liabilities and all that. Could I get a credit report from Creditinfo on Megan Deane's past?
No, you can't. You can't get a credit, but you can certainly ask me what's my credit score. And in fact, we were running a joke in here the other day that soon it won't be what's your sign, like what's your zodiac sign.
Yes.
It will be what's your credit score.
Absolutely.
Because only individuals can access their own report. In fact, the legislation is so protective of the consumer's information that even a credit provider cannot access an individual or a company's report without their specific consent. Of course, if you want the loan, you're going to give consent.
Yes.
If you want to marry me, George, then maybe we can have a discussion about how the scoring goes when we're doing our financial planning.
Yes,
I would imagine that there would be full disclosure between persons who are going down that road.
And when we're going to counseling to the past, you walk with your credit score, I walk with mine.
Exactly. We do a strategic alliance.
There you go.
Sounds
there
like
you
a
go.
plan.
Absolutely.
But actually, it's actually very exciting. These are interesting times that we're moving into, and we're just excited to be at the forefront of it because we know that this is going to make such a tremendous difference to how business is done and to even how people treat with each other. I mean, we kind of joke about it, but it really is important, even for people getting married, as you say in the counseling, that they understand that you're becoming now joint and severally liable with somebody else is going to affect your score. Because one of the things that we pull up in our information base is not just the credit that has been extended to you, it's your contingent liabilities. So if you have guaranteed a facility for someone, that is going to appear on your report and it's going to affect your score because all of these matters are taken into consideration.
Those actors below Creditinfo in the information and our data supply chain, what if you get bad information from, say, a loan facility, from somebody from the NHD, rather than giving the true idea, the accurate picture rather of my standing with the trust? There's some doctoring of the numbers that you get.
I don't know about doctoring.
Yes.
I mean, what may happen is that there is a lag in the information update in maybe some institution's database. So they may not be as timely with updating their records as one would wish. And that's why we're spending the time right now before we actually start producing the reports to work with our credit information providers to clean their data, to make sure that it is as accurate as possible. But what the legislation does allow is that once a consumer sees their report and recognizes that there is an error in it, they come in, they report it to us, we will have 14 days within which to check with the credit information provider, make sure either that the record is correct or that it's corrected. If it's incorrect, we will pull that report. We will advise any institution which may have previously accessed the incorrect information that there was incorrect information, and then we will get the correct information going forward. So we will actually, this whole process will actually be helping the credit information providers to clean their data and to be sure that they have accurate data going forward. I mean, there is obviously going to be a little bit of phase in the first stage where you will expect that there will be some errors, but this is wonderful in terms of helping both the individual and the institution to ensure that they have correct information.
Very well. Megan Deane, Chief Executive Officer of Creditinfo Jamaica Limited. Yes.
Do invite us back for some more, because this is a continuing conversation.
Yes, it's on. It unfolds.
It unfolds.
Yes, yes.
And I'm not going to forget that you proposed to me on air.
I was just going to tell you that you should walk with your document when we go to the pastor, yes?
All right, George. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
Talk to you soon.
All right,
Bye-bye.
good. CEO of Creditinfo, Megan Deane. There, we take a break here on George Davis Live.